he didn't say whether or not he would or would not stand or kneel during the national anthem, and because they didn't have any clarity, they canceled the trip. So I'll start with you first, Marcellus. Your reaction to them canceling the trip?
In totality, I think that is a moment of clarity that's necessary from both sides. So they need to get to the bottom of that. I know there were previous reports of Colin Kaepernick saying he wouldn't kneel 2018 if he were on the team. So that's the last report I've heard. That said, we have to separate the protests from the cause, because right now what we're talking about is not a human rights issue. We're talking about a workplace issue. And what the Seattle Seahawks are saying is, we respect your cause, but we want you to not protest while at work. That said, and that's very tough for a lot of people to do because they're conflating the two. That said, Colin Kaepernick now has to use his leverage to his advantage for the cause, which is all of the energy of that cause. As they know about energy, can't be created, can't be destroyed, can only be transferred. Transfer the energy of I have to physically protest to leverage the richest owner in the NFL and all the collective owners to be on your side, because I think right now they're opening the doors if you were to be an ally. And it's okay to be an ally and still stay for the cause. Right now, if I'm Kaepernick, I clarify my stance, I go in there and I use them to my advantage.
Let me ask you a question. Can you protest at any job that you know of, LZ?
Perhaps not in the way in which we've been seeing in the NFL. What we've gone through here at ESPN, and the clarification of how our social media is to be used as it pertains to politics, right? So I understand that there's a workplace environment that has to be adhered to, and as long as it doesn't interfere with your constitutional rights, you should probably adhere to the workplace policy. But with all that being said, it doesn't surprise me that Colin Kaepernick perhaps didn't have a complete answer to their question, because his entire movement from the outside looking in has been organic. He's been kind of figuring it out as he goes along. They presented him with another option. He's trying to figure that out as well. I also will say this. Colin Kaepernick got a conversation started. Those who are interested in this conversation may have to deal with the fact that he's done talking.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just because he got something started doesn't mean that he's going to see it to its totality. He might actually be done with the involvement of it. He may not necessarily want to meet with politicians. He may not want to do X, Y, Z. He may say, I'm done. And those who have followed him this far may be disappointed to hear that. But just because someone's pointing you to the direction of the mountaintop doesn't mean they're going to go with you all the way.
But LZ, but it's all reported. We don't know what he's saying because, to your point, he isn't talking. And I agree with you. You can't protest at every workplace. You're absolutely right about that, Marcellus. That's a whole new perspective that we haven't talked about. But in general, do you believe at this point in time that if he came back to any job that he had, even that he would kneel? Do you really think that that would be feasible if he wanted a job?
Look, it seems like there's only one thing keeping him out the league, and we all know what that is. It's the protest conversation. The old saying is, first survive, then thrive. So first you got to get in the game to change the game. So I know what he wants to do in its totality. But at the same time, you can use the conversation and that energy and transfer it in a different way, as I said before, and use these owners in support of what you're doing. Look, they gave the $107 million. I respect the owners for doing something they've never done before. Call it hush money if you want, whatever. You got $107 million to give up? No, so respect for that. Now, Colin Kaepernick, you gave $1 million of your own dollars. You can issue a challenge, once again, in support of you to the owners and put that public pressure on them. The protest and just kneeling is one lane, one variation, one form. Change the form, but still hold on to the cause.
Change the method. So really quickly, guys, I think the Seahawks need him because we did some serious digging. And look at their roster, their quarterback roster. That's it.
Hold on. What's our budget?
That's all we have. That's all we got. But they only have one quarterback. It's Russell Wilson. They need Colin Kaepernick, if not some other reliable backup, do they not?
Oh, absolutely. And we know this. And Colin Kaepernick would be one of, if not the best backup in the NFL. We get it. And look, before Colin Kaepernick and protest issues, there was a conversation in the NFL. We want a backup. We don't want them too good.
Right.
You remember those days?
Yes, exactly.
That pressure, because that starter be like, and be like, he's looking at the backup. So Colin Kaepernick is in a weird place because he's so talented. Like, you don't want to stick him on the bench because you can hear the first incomplete pass put Cap in.
And he's in a weird place as well because, and the reason why I said he may be done talking is because he's in a precarious position. Say if he does to say, you know what, I'm not going to kneel anymore, I want the job, there are going to be people that support him that's going to consider him to be a sellout.
Well, that's why he doesn't want to say either way.
Exactly.
So that makes